Hi, my name is Krish Mehra, and I'm 11 years old in 6th grade, and I'm currently attending Brady Middle School. So the typical question that I'm asked is, how did you make your app? I typically answer this by just saying, I coded it, which I'll agree isn't too specific, so most people will follow up and ask, what is coding? My answer to this is, coding is based on many different languages that computers understand, just like how you and me can speak English and understand it. But the real reason I'm here isn't to educate everyone on what coding is, but to address a problem. Most digital things we do involve code, but only a small percentage of the world actually knows how to code. For example, how many of you have searched something on Google? Yeah, probably every single one of you. Or how many of you have bought something online? Probably every single one of you. And, well, what the heck? Okay, that's a snippet of code, and you're probably thinking that that's really complex, unless you know the Swift coding language or anything similar to it. And I did too before I started coding. But the truth is, it's not complex. Wouldn't you also think that that's complex? Even though it's Mandarin, the most widely spoken language in the world. So last year, according to code.org, 43,000 computer science students graduated into the 494,000 open computing jobs. If that wasn't clear enough, there were still 451,000 open computing jobs. According to International Data Corporation, also known as IDC, only 25 out of every 10,000 people know any coding in the world. Code has become the fourth literacy. Everyone needs to know how our digital world works, not just engineers. Mark Surman, executive director of Mozilla Foundation, said, "How many of you have changed a light bulb?" I'm guessing the fair majority of you. But are we all electricians? Probably not. This is just like coding, because even though we should all know how to function a computer and write simple lines of code, it doesn't mean that we're all going to be computer engineers or computer scientists. As we speak, coding is becoming more and more important to us. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Uber are all examples of how we are coming to depend and rely on technology more than ever. Imagine how much we could get done in the next few decades if every kid right now learned even just the basics of code. When I say this, I don't only mean kids that live in wealthier countries, but I'm also talking about kids that live in developing countries, such as Brazil, Nepal, or even Kenya. By this point in my talk, you're probably just wondering how to get your students or children started coding. Implementing coding into curriculum would definitely spark interest in coding for students. This is because they would finally get to use all of those ideas that just sit in the back of their heads the whole day. And they would get a break from what most of them think of as boring classes, and I have to agree. To spark interest in coding at my school, I started a coding club. At my coding club, we are teaching simple coding and letting kids use their ideas to the fullest. In my case, coding is kind of like soccer or tennis, because in both sports, if you make a mistake, you can work to fix it, just like how you can in coding. Now I'm going to list some places that you can get started coding. To start, there is Scratch. Using Scratch, you can create games, cards, and utilities using simple drag and drop blocks. Next is Code Academy. Code Academy has mostly free courses on most coding languages that you can think of, but the best part about it is you get to use an interactive code editor so that you can learn at the same time as typing the code. Third is Team Treehouse. Team Treehouse charges a membership fee, but you use professional video tutorials to create apps, games, websites, and etc. And you use various coding languages to accomplish all of this. Last of all is YouTube. Yeah, I know, it's the most obvious one, but it still deserves some mention. YouTube has endless tutorials about using numerous coding languages to complete almost any coding task that you can think of. So to rephrase Bill Gates, now is a great time to be entering the coding world because technology is going to change more in the next 10 years than it has in the last 50. Oh, and right before I leave, I want to leave every single one of you with a challenge to push your limits and try to learn how to code. Because who knows, one day you could be the founder or CEO of a major tech company. Thank you.